Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because history is repeating itself. And wow, I can't wait to cover this with you. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold, and I will talk about them in a little bit. I love coming up to the park before they rake the leaves. They get all the leaves falling off these big trees. And one thing that we've seen in history, we saw it in the early 90s. 92, 93. We saw it in 2000. We saw it in 2008. And we're seeing it again when it comes to real estate. And what you're seeing is you're seeing that sellers are offering financing to get the price that they want. And they're offering seller financing right now. And if someone's lived in their house a long time, generally a retiree age, they're saying, well, our house is worth $1.6 million. We don't want to get a dime less for this. So what we'll do is we'll offer, easy financing to get people in, and we'll carry the note. Generally 3 years, 5 years, and then the people have to have the responsibility to refinance or re-sign at a much higher rate. Now, you can sit there and go, oh, Dan, this is not happening. It's happening all over the place. Every seller, first of all, thinks that their house is worth much more than it is. And, it's the best house in the street. You've seen Jones? It's got that screwed up gate. The driveway's a mess. Our house is so much nicer and the pool's nicer, et cetera, et cetera. Guy in Texas, Carson Austin in Texas, he wanted to get $1.6 million for his house. So couldn't get any buyers. Nobody was interested. So what did he do? He offered seller financing. Immediately had dozens and dozens of people interested. Because the thing about seller financing, what it does is it makes it so that it's easier to qualify. Hey, listen, you don't have to, give, multiple pay stubs. You don't have to do any of that shenanigans. You can basically tell the guy, hey, this is where my money comes from, and here's my deposit. No, you got it. It's very, very easy to qualify. Now, what Mr. Austin did was he went out and offered 4% financing. So people freaked out. But you had to pay the full price in the house, which was more expensive than any other house in his neighborhood. He got 35% down. He got $540,000 down on that house. I am telling you guys, this guy doesn't care if these people make their payment or not because he got over $500,000 down on this house. Now, people do this with generally 3.5-year notes, 5-year notes. Basically, this is like doing construction financing. And to give you an idea, if you and I were going to get together, we're going to invest in a house, we're going to get a construction loan, we could go out and we could get something very easily and based on our good credit and a little bit of money down, and we're going to flip the house quickly. We're going to get the remodel done and get it done quickly. I have a friend of mine who is a brilliant contractor and electrician, and he does things like this very quick, very fast. Fast, 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 fast. Okay? But the idea with this is that you have to have somebody very talented that does this so that you're not holding the note too long and getting stuck servicing the debt. Now, benefits for the buyers, easy qualification process, especially if you have less than perfect credit. Considerations, terms are often shorter than the 30-year terms. You get 5 to 10-year terms on an average when people do this. Then you can do the lease options, shenanigans where, hey, lease this house and then you can buy it. And people do this out of desperation. I think that those are horrible deals, and rarely do I ever hear of them working out. Now, you may have a different story, and you can share that with us, but, allows the buyers to move in faster. It's legally sound, extremely fast funds, for the buyers to do this. Guys, I think that this is horrible. I really do. And, as we see these options change, you're going to see more hard money style loans. You're going to see more people that are going to do alternative type financing with this. But foreclosures are going up at a record pace. You're seeing homes sit on the market longer. It's happening all over the place. And it's just no two ways about it, No two ways about it. So, a lot more to cover. One thing that's evolving constantly is, what does it take to be rich in this world? What does it take to have a lot of money? Right now, they say it's gone up almost 10%. It's $2.3 million in net worth to be considered rich right now. It's a lot of money. And a lot of people don't have that. So one thing that we're seeing is debt this Christmas. We're seeing current consumer debt went up $13 billion in the last quarter. And that's bad, guys. It's just people borrowing themselves to oblivion. So for everybody that they're saying is trying to get wealthy and trying to get themselves ahead, there's that many more people that just don't have any money right now. Speaking of not having money, how many people retire with $1 million? I have $1 million. I'm going to retire. 3.2%. Walking around in society, there's only 2.6% of the people out there that have $1 million. So only 3% of the people that officially say I'm retired have that. Generally, you're looking at things like $600,000 and $700,000 in savings that they have. Very few millionaires, just under 2%, have it in their IRA and 401ks. So again, less people, more people have less money right now. And I don't know, it's sad because I don't want to see a world where everybody walks around in debt all the time. You have to understand this. And as we get closer to Christmas, I have people that write me, and it's sad. I want Christmas to end, Dan. I want this over with. And it's not about the gifts. It's not about the money, guys. It's about family and your faith in God and having, a higher belief in everything else and everything good in this world. There's so much bad going on right now, and it's horrible. I mean, I could just sit there and do the negative news channel. That's why we have the private news, the private channel that we do is all the other bullshit, guys. It's all the other stuff we can't talk about here and shouldn't talk about here. It's horrible and it's nonstop, and there's just a ton of it right now. So a lot more to cover. Look at the turtles; they're very happy. Okay, more to cover. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. Patriot Gold Group is #1 rated with Consumer Affairs for 9 years in a row now. They sell all types of precious metals. Contact them today, 888-330-1431. Guys, think about this. Bank of America predicts that gold, which is just above $4,200 an ounce, is going to hit $6,000 in early 2026. Frank Holmes said we're going to see $7,000 gold. Now, if you don't want to be part of the gold frenzy right now, look at silver. Silver, again, over $60 an ounce right now, and the sky's the limit. So many people have said that this could be the trade of the year. Check it out today, 888-330-1431. Go with #1 rated Patriot Gold Group, over 10,000 clients, over $1 billion in sales. Clearly, they're doing something right. Contact #1 rated Patriot Gold Group today. Hey guys, I want to remind you that an email just went out, and you need to check your spam filter. Make sure you're getting those emails, because you want to be part of the Christmas card list and you want all the good stuff we're talking about. So check your spam filter, and if you're not on the email list, you have to be. If you want to get on the email list, join the Christmas card list. Use the QR code here or use the link below. I was going to do an entire video on this next subject matter, and that is that you will make no money. You're just going to not do well in life. Oh, that's a terrible thing to say, Dan. No, think about this. Department of Education wants to issue warnings for different careers that you may get. So when you go out and you borrow student loan money of $140,000, you may not make $30,000 a year with this career. 140,000 divided by $30,000 a year. Oh, plus I have to eat, pay rent, and make a car payment. Hang on. See what I'm saying? Now, Schools are furious about this. The lenders are furious about this. Don't tell people that they won't earn a good living. That's a horrible thing to do for people. Why is that? How about the truth? How about the fact that you're not going to be able to make any money doing this? You know, I just, read the story below because I could elaborate on this for an hour and a half. Again, my son didn't do well at his first school. And I didn't want to participate in that because I thought he was a boy at the time. And he and I have had this conversation, and he decided to prove me and the whole world wrong by going to a different college and negotiated terms and his money and everything with them himself, which is great. Now, I've helped him along the way during this time, but he did it on his own and negotiated a cheaper price. He paid less than somebody sitting next to him because he made a phone call, because he told the school his parents were not interested in helping, and he had to do this all on his own and had to pay for it on his own. What can you do for me? Now, he did that. And you know how few people have the guts and the fortitude, you might say that, to do that? Very few. But my son did that, and it worked out really, really well for him. And, great study that 2025 was a great year for some people. Only problem, it was only 1 out of 10 people said 2025 was a good year for them. I can't even do that without laughing. 1 out of 10 said that 2025 was a good year. Isn't that's sad, but it's horrible. 1 in 10. Oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe next year. It is determined that Santa Monica Airport, which is a small little airstrip, just added JSX to fly there to Vegas. And it's funny, I reached out to a friend and I go, hey, you know that you can fly from your airport up the street instead of having to go to LAX, which is hell. LAX is hell. Instead of going to LAX, you can go to Santa Monica Airport. He goes, we're going to Vegas right now. We're on that flight you're talking about, which was the coolest thing ever that he told me that. But Santa Monica Airport is scheduled to close forever in 2027. So you got basically a year and a half if you want to fly out of Santa Monica Airport. So, oh gosh, guys, it's interesting when you put pen to paper and you tell people facts and stats. Some people want to hear this, some people don't want to hear anything about that. They don't want to hear about what people owe. They just want to hear that everything's good and they can't afford to pay their cell phone bill and they can't afford to get by. But don't worry, it's all going to be good. Dr. Marvin sent me a great story about a nasal spray that was recalled because of mold inside the nasal spray, and it was shipped around the country. Read the story below, but it's called Reboost. And Reboost had potential to get people very sick with sinus infections and things like that because it was not clean. So, stuff like this. I love sharing stories like this because, Dr. Marvin's in Florida, I'm in California, and this affects all of us. It really does. So, these recalls, again, you guys want to start a YouTube channel, do the Ford Recall channel because you'll just have content after content after content on a weekly basis. I am sick of theft. There was a Home Depot ring, a theft ring, and they would steal merchandise from Home Depot and then they would take it to different people and they would get paid cash up front, percentage down from what they stole. Say you sold $1,000 of the stuff, we'll give you $600. Here you go, here's cash. And then they would sell the merchandise at a 30% discount and make money doing that. They just had, a 780-page indictment. They arrested 13 people for this, but they stole millions and millions of dollars. This originated out of New York City. And again, you wonder why things are so expensive. I went to Home Depot like a year and a half ago to buy a drill, and the box was empty. I'm like, hey, do you guys know the box? Yeah, those drills keep getting stolen, so we have to take the drills out of the box. I don't know about you guys, but I like to open something and be the first guy to touch it and have my hands on it. And I don't want to have somebody else opening the box. It's just my thing. Okay? Next thing is, there's gold scammers out there that are telling people, hey, listen, if you don't pay us, with your buying gold and shipping us the gold, we're going to do something nefarious to you. This has happened. There's a great story below talking about this. but a man went to a bank, and the bank sensed he was just completely off and kept sliding him notes. Again, check in on older people, because these scams are happening with the elderly. And you just listen, nobody's doing this. Oh my gosh, I have a family member. Really, have a code. You'd know if you had my daughter, because I mean, I'd ask one question and that would be the end of it. So my cousin was the victim of this, where they had a woman shrieking, calling on the phone about a year and a half ago. Dad, they've got me. Okay, like it was my niece. So, anyways, terrible. But you got to be careful of doing that. I did a video on that. I'll try to find it for you guys. Final thing that is really upsetting people right now is, we've all seen things getting locked up inside of a store. And how about this Bay Area store? It's a Safeway store. You're not allowed to leave the store unless you bought something. Huh? What do you mean? You have to show your receipt. You have to scan your receipt before you leave so you can exit the store. I didn't buy anything. The prices weren't good. You didn't have my shaving cream. You didn't have the pork on sale the way I like it. No, nothing you can do. Scan this. Well, then you have to call the security guard over. What'd you do? What were you here for? And the security guard, interrogates everybody and berates them and asks questions. Why were you here? Seriously. You didn't find it? You need help finding something? I can get a manager over to help you find it. No, I just want to leave. Okay. Now it's infuriating people because their rights and their freedoms are violated. Okay. I'm telling you this right now. You're going to see this more and more and more. Let's finish this video with these last few things. First things first, don't forget, this is one of your last chances to sign up for the Christmas card and holiday giveaway. You sign up, everybody gets a free card that signs up, and then we choose names and give out prizes in the middle of January 2026 for everybody. Sign up, you don't want to miss that. Use this QR code to do that, or use the link below. Don't forget, we have a private channel also, I Allegedly Live, which I love doing all that private content, and it has gone crazy lately because there's been so much to talk about that we can't talk about other places. Final two stories. Swift Foods in Riverside, California is going to close. It's one of the largest beef processing plants in Southern California in Riverside County. 374 jobs are going to be lost in early January. That's horrible, guys. Once again, more and more beef companies that are going out of business. They're owned by a Brazilian conglomerate, JBS, and it's done. So they're going to get rid of that. And final story, Leavenworth, Kansas. There was a 7-Eleven Phillips 76 station that had a problem over the weekend where if you bought gas there and you swiped your card, it would print a receipt and make the decimal point 2 spots over. What does that mean, Dan? Well, let's say the woman that bought $82.56 worth of gas got $8,200 taken out of her account. Oh, those 2 decimal points. This happened over and over and over again. I just need 32 bucks. And then this one man talked about how he went and it was 3,200 taken out of his account, and then went to go buy a drink after he pumped his gas and it wouldn't allow him to do so. So who's at fault for this? Yeah, we fixed the problem now. Think of it. You have the money taken out of your account. How long does it take to get back? It's a holiday weekend, pre-shopping weekend. There's only one more left after this. What if you had plans? What if you had to pay bills? And you did that, and it was for hours this happened. And again, the lack of wow, this is a real problem. It was like, we fixed it. What are you complaining about? Type of thing. That's the gist I got out of the video. I'll do the last story on the video description below. Hit the like button, subscribe. You want to email me? It's hello@iallegedly.com is the email address. Speaking of emails, we just had one go out. And if you are on the email list, make sure you check your spam filter. And I will see you very soon.